All right. Podcast number 2, Awaken Fire number 2. I am Danny Shipley.
I'm Bethany Warner. And with us, we have our sister, Anna Shipley.
Why Women Starbucks extraordinaire.
Wow. Wow. What an intro.
Yeah.
She is our only redheaded sister.
Correct.
So she's the unique one.
She also has green eyes. Nobody else in our family has green eyes.
True. Grace is like hazel-ish, but
We should say that we are one of... So there are 5 children in our family. We should say that. And I'm the oldest, and you're the second oldest, Dan.
Oldest son.
yeah, you
Oldest
guys should.
son. And then we have another brother, and then Anna, and then another sister,
Grace.
So,
And I'm sure Grace will be on the podcast sometime.
yeah, for sure.
For sure. All right. What's the topic for today?
Dreams,
Dreams.
aspirations, visions, goals.
Goals. Hashtag goals.
And Anna is probably one of the best people to talk to about that because she's got a lot.
I do. I have
She's
a lot of
dreamer.
goals.
Let's talk about very briefly why we are such dreamers. So, short answer, Dan, why do you think we are dreamers?
Because my dad is a dreamer and my mom really followed that vision along, and she had personal dreams. She still does her dream.
Yeah.
And they are still going after their dreams, and it was just kind of up until graduation from high school what we lived in. We were kind of bred. I guess that was our
dream casting was like our normal.
that was just
It's our bread and butter.
That's our bread and butter. Like, I feel like for myself, if I'm not being creative, at least in one way, a new creative way, every week, it makes me feel almost a little depressed because I just love, stifled. I love new ideas. I love doing new things, and I love just creative expressions. And that's why, like, I think where I'm at in guitar, because I'm kind of like, I was telling her, I'm obsessed with sound. And it doesn't just hold to just guitar. Like, I'm trying to learn a little bit of keys and such. And I was like listening to a little bit of rap the other day, and she said, that's funny, you're listening to rap. You usually don't. I said, the only reason why I play guitar is because I'm obsessed with sounds and what things sound like. Mm-hmm. And I love the creative expression that other people can do. Like, certain artists, they have just people that mix beats and certain sounds, and I'm just like, that is so cool if I can just incorporate that. But
You're trying to always like better your sound.
Yep.
Make it more
new, fresh, something good. Yep. And inspired.
Like reaching the most.
Yeah.
The most people. I think for me, a lot of it is like personal development. I'm very passionate about personal development in the way of like not necessarily being a perfectionist, but not being complacent.
Yeah.
And challenging myself more creatively because it doesn't always come as naturally to me.
I was just thinking, what if these people driving by
We're like,
looked in and saw us huddled? We're currently just recording. Just recording.
Don't edit that out.
No, I'm leaving all this. Somebody, if they were driving by, looked in the window and saw all of us in front of one big microphone. Hi, how you doing? We moved into a different room. If you can't hear that, it sounds different acoustically. So,
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. So, and then short answer, Anna, why do you think, or like having a dream-focused life, like what's your why, I guess? Short answer.
I was going to add to what Dan said of like our parents, but because
I
both of them are quite fearless dreamers, and our dad in particular is very just goes after what he wants very strongly, irregardless of like the opinions of anything. And I think that's very highly ingrained in us, and our mom has continued to pursue what she wants to do. You know, she just turned 60 and is just she still goes after what she wants. So I think it was very well ingrained in us as children that anything is possible that we put our minds to, and it wasn't just told to us, it was shown in front of us. And I think, I don't know, my why, I think I'm just always been a dreamer. I think the new is very exciting to me. The unknown, the non-typical makes me come alive. And so my dreams are pages filled as a child and pages filled as an adult, and often change from month to month and year to year. And as an adult, trying to find what are my true, like, long-term, like, what are the deep dreams in my soul that I want to see carried out? What is the truest of me in these dreams has been a really interesting process to find. But yeah, the why is that it fills me up and makes me want to experience the world and try new things and go and live a non-ordinary life, because that's been the example in front of us all of our life. So
yeah, I 100% agree. Let's ask you first, just kind of like some dreams, and then maybe some more practical, I guess, aspirations. We did talk about this a little bit before we got on here.
So dreams as in like the big things, and practical as in the small things, or like small steps or whatnot?
Yeah, small, kind of like overall dream for your life, and then some practical dreams that you're kind of even walking in fulfillment, I would say, now.
Yeah.
So present and future.
One of the biggest overall dreams is I'm very much a people person, and I've been involved in incredible discipleship from other people discipling me, so that's something very close to my heart. And I would love the long term, what I hope to be doing when I'm 45 and 50 and 60 and 70, is to have a home, maybe a farm, but space to what are we?
I'm still laughing about people.
The neighbors going by.
We're gonna have to start this over. Oh no! Just keep it going. Okay, keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah, because this guy just came by. Wow, that's a cool board.
Oh boy, so much.
I've seen him.
It's a
wipe
one-wheel
out.
board. You've seen him wipe out?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sorry,
Someone's
keep going, Anna.
down the road. But I really want to create a space one day for people to come and kind of like a second home for people. That's what our parents did a lot for people growing up, and I think that's very heavily imprinted on my heart. And yeah, so people, I would love to have people that are trained counselors. I've danced for most of my life, and I want to get more into that, but just space for people to come engage in the arts, engage in being outdoors, and the healing and the rest that comes from being in nature, from eating good food, from being able to have time to sit down and process what they've walked through, who they are, what they want, a place for people to catch vision again, and a place for people to have healing that has been untouched. And yeah, I want it to be in a place that fills people with awe in the beauty of nature, and a slow enough rhythm for people to just rest and tap into. I have a huge heart for kids that have phased out of the foster system, so I'd love to have people working there that have also not had the privilege of belonging to a family and to a community of people. So creating that and discipling those people and walking them through life and creating that space is the long-term dream of my life and what I hope to be doing decades from now, and then till the end.
That's wild.
That's my favorite dream that Anna has.
And that is it's so amazing, because we were talking before. She was just at home, and I asked her, hey, you want to come be a part of the podcast for today's episode? And I was just like, wow, I had no idea that was the trajectory that you had in your heart. So it's just like really cool to hear that, and just that's what it means to you to feel like really fully alive, and you feel like, because everybody has like huge mountaintop goals of like where they could go, and what their blog could be or what their company could be, and just knowing people are out there and they have those, because sometimes when you talk to people, they literally don't have any. Right. They have like, well, I would like to get my house in order, or I would like to get my kids. But it's not your only dream. No. That's the important. And I would like to get my kids through college, or I would like to pay off my car. And it's just, these are really cool. But what's the aspiration that makes you feel alive, that gets your blood pumping, that you wake up thinking about and hearing and stuff? And it's just really beautiful to hear yours.
Yeah, thanks.
And you even said that you didn't even know that.
No, I didn't know that.
It's cool that the podcast, the first episode we talked about, we want a space to maybe have the conversations with people that you don't necessarily have, like, on a regular basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're asking really specific questions.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm never close enough.
You just like to sit back and talk loud.
True.
Whereas I like
Reclining.
I like to like get close and see how low I can talk, or something. I think I do, but
hello.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so
Do you want practical ones? Yeah.
Yeah, just do a couple ones that you're kind of doing right now, that you're like walking out some dreams.
Yeah,
right
what's
now.
your short term? What's a short term goal?
So those are the other dream, or not the other dream, but the lifelong one is kind of the trajectory of where I'd love to be. And then a lot of the things that I'm trying to do to shape my life in that way is I love to travel and go places and experience new cultures and discover more of myself in the midst of all of that. So kind of your typical 22-year-old dream. I want to go find myself. But yeah, so I love being in the outdoors, and I've been trying to really invest in my like physical and mental and emotional health. And because I'm aware that I will not be able to offer people a place for healing if I have not sought and fought after that in my own life.
Yeah.
That we really can't give out what we have not invested and poured into ourselves.
Yeah.
And I know for me to eventually be able to create that space, I have to create it within me. So one of my dreams is to go see all the national parks before I'm 30, and I'm starting to rock climb because I love to be outside, and I really believe that nature plays a massive part in the healing, and we learn so much rhythmically from nature and the cyclical nature of it that is so needed in our lives that we don't slow down enough to actually engage in fairly often. And there's so much research about the healing and the anxiety reducingness of even just being in nature. I think the Japanese call it forest bathing. I could be mistaken on that, but
fact check.
Fact check.
If I could interject to that. Last week I started doing like just like meditating, and before last week, I'm always doing something. I'm going to run, I'm going to go somewhere and kind of like look at the nature around and stuff like that, or I'm going to play video games, or I'm going to watch a TV show, or I'm going to be doing something. I'm so productive. Yeah. And I found that was really bogging me down. And last week I was trying to cap off a song. There's a new song that me and Gabby are doing, and I was trying to cap it off. And the song, it involves nature and certain elements. And I was just like, I knew that I was not in touch with any of that. I knew that I wasn't in touch even with myself at a certain point, because I was just bogged down by the day-to-day. So I spent, I think, 5 hours. I just listened to just quiet music, just like really minimal. There was no guitars. It's not anything. It wasn't pop music. It wasn't rock music. It wasn't anything. It was just like people humming, basically. And I just relaxed, and I just spoke things over myself. I spoke certain Christian principles. I spoke just things about myself and my humanity and just who I am. And after 5 hours, I went and completed my song, and I felt so good that it's now something, even in my car, when I feel shook up, it's something that I feel like I'm gravitating towards, because I felt like I wasn't taking care of myself on a mental level. I mean, so good. I feel like I'm a very pointed person. Like, if you ask me, how's it going? I'm going to tell you about what I want to do next, or where I'm going, or what I want to try to push towards, or even financially what I'm pushing towards. And nobody will ask me, how do you feel? Like, I feel like I need to ask myself, how do you feel? Where are you? And taking care of that element. I think, especially guys, society tells guys sometimes be a man. Right. With every single scenario that comes to them, sometimes just be a man, buckle up, which is important. And you have to do that to lead a family and raise a family and be a husband and such. But also, it's like, how do you feel, man?
Right.
And God cares about that.
Being a man.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Right. I was going to comment on that too when talking earlier about people, like when you want to get to the depths of like, well, what's your life dream and what fills you up? I think sometimes we like haven't taken the time to find that out, or often that people have those dreams as children or as young adults, but they get kind of buried by responsibilities, and none of those things are negative or bad in themselves. But when we lose who we are in the midst of it, I think it causes a lot of anxiety and stress and unhappiness. Not because any of those things that you're doing are negative per se, but I think a lot of self-care is lacking. A lot of what makes me, how do I find time to sit and meditate? How do I find the time? How do I do that? How do I, which thankfully we live in a generation, I think, that is really striving and fighting for that in a new way.
Yeah.
Or just reclaiming that in new ways for themselves. Not always successfully, but I think it's a really good thing that we're trying to find that. And, you know, people are like, well, I want to do, doing yoga, or what is it that makes you happy? Maybe you're not an artist, but you need to sit down and paint. Like maybe that's an act of self-care for yourself. I know it is for me. I am by no means a painter. I have no skill with it, but it gives me a lot of joy, and it allows something in me to exhale.
I read something the other day was like, you don't have to be good at your art to be able to partake in it. And you don't have to know everything. And that's something that society, with the intelligence age we kind of are in, it's just like, okay, so you want to paint, you don't have to be making the Mona Lisa to be able to do that, but what does it mean towards you and your brain and where you're going? I think that's what is important.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of I think Instagram and social media have made everything, if it's not worth sharing, it's not worth doing. And that if it's not this beautiful thing that you want everyone to have and see, then you have you have no right to be doing it. Because I know that cripples me. I'm not one that likes to be a beginner. I don't like to fail at things. I'm kind of a perfectionist. And so to me, it's like, no, pick up the paintbrush and paint because you need it. This isn't for anyone else. This isn't for trying to impress somebody. This is so that you can breathe and exhale and you can have these things. And I think that's so cool. It's vital to do that, to know who we are.
I think that I am like relearning, and I'm literally in a point of looking back on what gave me joy as a child, what gave me life. Because that's that's a huge thing that people often say when you feel really lost. Like, go back to what initially inspired you. Who did you want to be? Which it's funny for me because I wanted to be a vet for a long time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then, we talked about it. Like, I wanted to do music for a period of time. Like we were saying, it's really funny because when I was about 13, 14, I started shifting out of wanting that for my life. And Dan at that age started shifting into that's what he wanted for his life.
Yeah, the first guitar I played was actually your guitar.
Right.
So I didn't know you had a
originally,
guitar. That's really interesting.
She started guitar lessons and then she was done. Yeah, she thinks it's huge. It's a full size.
I mean, I'm not a full size person.
No, you are, but like you thought it was so big.
So big. Absolutely. No, but I think like I am rediscovering what are my dreams and aspirations, and so yeah. Do you want to go next, Dan, or you want me to kind of just keep going?
No, go ahead, keep going.
So yeah, I'm 30, which is like really cool, and I think I'm a little behind going into the actual new decade, but next year is a new decade, 2020.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird. It feels like a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Like Halo or something, like a video game. It's like the year that they give the sci-fi movies.
Well, like, I love Back to the Future.
Yeah.
We passed that.
That time, and we still don't have flying cars, so.
Or hoverboards.
Bummer.
No, we do have hoverboards.
But
yeah. It's not your average person.
It's not your form of transportation.
No. Right, correct.
That's why those new scooters everybody's riding around on. That's all I see in Cleveland.
When we were...
Scooters are coming back.
We had a surprise birthday party for Dan a couple weeks ago, and we were sitting by downtown Cleveland, and probably like 10 people on scooters kept going by in different intervals, just like those electric ones. And I was like, what is going on? What is happening? But I guess it's a new, I don't know anything about it.
We went to Columbus in August or July. I can't remember. July. And we saw all these people on scooters, and me and Gabby were looking at each other like, what the heck is going on? And then we came back, and I kid you not, the following week, Cleveland downtown was flooded with these things.
That's so fascinating.
And the RTA downtown, which is transportation for buses and other things like that, trains and buses, they have now scooters you can rent that are a part of the RTA. And we were just like, what the heck? We went to Columbus, and we came back, and everybody's got them. I'm not going to ride one.
They shipped them while you were there.
Sorry, I'm not. Side tangent.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's okay. What was it? I don't even. Oh, new decade, 2020.
New decade.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of been really thinking about. So from 20 to 30, it was I was in school. I got married.
Mm-hmm.
My husband went through school. And then at the end of my 20s, we got a house and had a baby. And it wasn't like I checked things off a list, but I knew, like, I never doubted, like, where I was going in the process of that. Like, I knew where my goals and my aspirations were. Even with my job, like, I've always wanted to have 2 PRN jobs, which that means you kind of make your own schedule. You work as much as you want. And I bounce between 2 of those types of jobs right now. And that's something I've always wanted for myself too. But I never like made a list, exactly.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm like, okay, so you knew what your 20s were about. What is 30 to 40 looking like? Just to be more, I posted like on my own Instagram about it, but I just think it's a really good pot stirrer because I think we can very easily just like coast through life.
And also like being middle class or just even like lower than middle class and anywhere you just have to like go to a 9 to 5. Sometimes I think people get caught up in just survival mode of paying off my college degree, making sure that my house is paid for and just making sure the payments for everything is on time and like
That's kind of what Anna was saying. You kind of just got caught up in the
mundane. You just get swallowed in it.
Oh, yeah,
like you can have like a long-term goal. Like I could be like, I want to release 3 songs this year. And I kid you not, by the end, I thought this year was the year I was going to do like 10 songs. Maybe I will. But like I've released one song. Yeah, I released one song at this point, and new song, and like just things keep happening, and you just forget. Sometimes you can forget about your dreams. You get so bogged down in your spirit, you can just feel just like survival mode. You can go through survival mode. I feel like some people can go through that for like 10 years. Which watching you, I feel like there's been a lot of moments. It's just been doing the right thing, doing the good thing, doing everything right, and surviving.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, and I think that is something, I think that's kind of why I'm passionate about even sharing that and even sharing the returning to, I think it's kind of, it might be like an overpopulated market of people like returning to their, their roots or finding themselves or whatever. But I do think it's always important to share your story. So
I would just add to that too, like not just middle class, but if you grew up in a place of poverty, which we thankfully did not, and that was a privilege in our life, that is completely because of our parents and we had nothing to do with that. But that a lot of times, like that, there are people that have dreams that are like have never gotten the opportunity or the chance to walk that out. Or I remember, I think Angelina Jolie, when she won an award, talked about how like, she can create movies, but maybe there's someone who's in a refugee camp that could make even better, a bazillion times better than she can. But because they never had the opportunity or the privileges that she did, maybe they never will.
Or just talking about that to encourage them to do that.
And that there isn't space made for people a lot of the times dependent on race, poverty, socioeconomic, your nationality, for that to happen. So there's tons of reasons that people are not able or have never been given space to.
Busyness, complacency, or just simply platforms and
for sure.
So I am really passionate about that end of it because I don't want to wake up one day when I'm 80 years old and not just like, I don't want to regret my life, because I feel like even though, and I would agree, like, I think the past 10 years have been a lot of survival mode, like a lot, way more than I even anticipated.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be someone who's like, wow, like, how did I get here? I blinked and it was 10 years, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I've been spending a lot of time thinking about dreams.
Yeah.
And, like, I think, like you were saying, like, you thought you would, like, release 10 songs by now. I think it's really important to, like, set, when you're, like, vision casting and when you're goal setting, to, like, give yourself, like, space and, like, grace for, hey, this is what I'm thinking, but it might look a little different getting there.
Yeah.
Because I think I've definitely dealt with, like, a lot of, like, disappointment because I think, oh, by this point I should be at this place.
Yeah.
And like, that's very unrealistic, I feel like, but I think it's still good. It's like a weird tension. Like, you always want to be vision casting.
Yeah.
So you kind of know where you're going. Like, me and Anna, we talk about all the time, like, what are you doing now that is putting you in the direction of where you want to be?
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean, oh, like, next year I'm going to be doing this, but what are you doing today?
Yeah. The short-term goals,
The short-term goals,
the
reflecting
blocks
on the future aspirations.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's, like, my little pitch on it. But I would, like, a big vision, I think, of mine is I would love to write books someday. And I think mostly because I hope that me keeping all of my journals from the time I was a very young teenager, I can even pull from those things.
Those experiences,
Yeah, I always try to hold on to, like, pivotal points of my life. But yeah, I think it's hard because I think everybody's writing a book and, like, everybody's doing a podcast and everybody's, you know, like, there's a lot of things that we all do, but I think that again, like, you're given a story for you to share that story with other people. It was very interesting to me because I just recently, like, restarted blogging. I said that in the last podcast. And I used to write stuff all the time online when I was younger, like, you know, just, like, all the time. I put it up on Facebook. I think Facebook still has notes, but, like, you could post to Facebook. Back in MySpace, you could post your, like, little blog to MySpace. Good old MySpace.
A little before my time.
But
so sad it fell off.
I know. I loved MySpace. It was so
You came on my page and my theme song was playing already.
It was, like, the first, like, major social media thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or, like, one of the first.
You could have your own, like, you could have a little playlist.
Yeah.
Of when people, like, what they would listen to.
And you had to do, like, coding for the page.
Yeah,
you
had
have,
to do
like,
coding.
Your favorite friends and stuff.
Yeah, top 8.
Oh my.
That was what I
drama.
think
Drama.
made MySpace, like, just a downside because, like, at that time I was like, okay, what? Like, why am I changing? You would have somebody be in your top 8 and then they wouldn't have you in their top 8. That was just so funny.
Well, you got a boyfriend and you'd, like, bump your best friend from number 1.
Oh
yeah.
That's weird.
Dogs always stand in our front yard. Okay, so
Probably because you got, like, 3 of them in your house right now.
yeah,
Probably.
So when I used to do that, like, literally, like, 5 people would read my blog, which, like, I didn't do it for people to read it. I just did it because I wanted to, like,
Put it
out there. Same with, I'm like, I got, like, 10 likes on that picture. I don't care because I would like to chronologically look back and look at.
I know, isn't that
Instagram
amazing?
anyways.
You do a
Isn't
lot
that
for
amazing?
you.
I do it for me.
That's what I like. I appreciate Instagram for that because I can scroll down and be like, when I started doing this, like, every twice a week thing.
Yeah. Like,
that was in
reread
2017. Be like,
3
look how
years ago.
far I've
Yes.
come.
Oh, yes.
Look at my thinking. And
so
do I need to
interesting.
draw from that again? Sometimes it's
I wrestle
great.
with just, like, deleting all of the old posts except for the last,
Just
like,
archive.
10.
What
Sometimes,
should
right?
archive?
No, like, sometimes I just want to, like, blank space it. It's interesting how we have different, like, approaches to social media.
I think it is, like, kind of almost like how our generations are even split.
Yeah, true.
Because there's 8 years between us and 6 between you and Dan.
You guys are definitely millennials, and I'm on the weird age bracket of the very bottom of the very youngest of the millennials and the very oldest of Gen Z in a weird age bracket.
So
Everybody thinks Gen Z is millennials. I love that.
Well, for a little, right.
Like some people, like the kids, like today.
They're like, oh, these millennials. And really it's like what is the
1983 is when millennials.
Right, 1983.
It's 83 to either 96 or 97. So like
really?
my year is the last year of, so Grace is technically a Gen Z.
Right.
She's definitely a Gen Z.
Yeah, but sorry, we keep
it's okay.
Railroading.
It's fine. But like it's funny to me because I was like, I don't care, like whoever reads my blog's cool, fine. And what's interesting, and I don't know if it's just because like I'm the phase of life that I'm at, and like I don't know why, but my blogs get at least over 50 views now, and when I shared, and I thought it was so silly, like everybody shares their birth story now, whatever. So I was like, whatever, and I'll post it and it'll be fine. It got over 200 views, and I was like, what? So I think that that definitely, not kind of, it affirmed in me that like my story is important. And I also think like keeping kind of a public place where I'm telling stories, or even just like a place where I am telling the stories, that is what my book will be drawn from eventually. Because I don't think I'm going to write books until I'm probably like 60 years old.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I don't want to until I'm 60. Okay. And I think I will be like writing bits and pieces. I mean, I've always written books. Like I've had oh my gosh, all my books.
Yeah.
They were fictional when I was younger.
I have a zombie book that I started writing at 11 years old. Oh. And our mom like gave it back to me, and she's like, I found this in the house. This is a whole story. And I think I wrote the majority of it in an entire week. Wow. I was very inspired by all my
before zombies were a thing.
I know. Yeah. I know it was a thing. It was just starting to really take off and become.
You were 11, though.
I was 11, and my other book, I actually named that Asher, A Warrior's Heart, and I had this whole story because I was inspired by like Kingdom Hearts.
Like I remember that.
Yeah, I did not finish it. I have the book at home, and I decided I was going to name my son Asher after that. But yeah,
you're non-existent.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
There is no baby yet.
But as far as for me, as far as like kind of just like my vision or aspirations and such.
I didn't finish.
You didn't finish?
I said one thing.
Oh, I didn't know you walked out.
We have the dogs buried somewhere. So
I have 2
not
dogs.
Buried.
We have like outside. We have a few more minutes. So.
A few more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just share my one other goal.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, so I've been in nursing. I already said that in the other podcast. I think it would be really cool in the next 10 years to pursue like public health nursing.
Wow.
I think education is really important. We educate in the hospital all the time, but it's such a high stress situation that I don't think people are absorbing as much of the information. I know at least when I was in the hospital after I had my son, I mean, they gave me pages of learning information. I didn't read through all of it until he was like 8 months old.
Wow.
Because it was so overwhelming. So I think like I'm really passionate about being more in the communities, and I literally have recently just started thinking about that. So that's kind of a long road, but that's definitely where I want to go. That's what I see myself doing later.
Yeah.
So pursuing things about that now. That's it.
Yeah. That's excellent.
I think so.
No, it is. That's perfect.
Dan, what are your dreams?
I just want a higher level of what I'm doing right now. I just want a higher level. And
what
just,
are you doing right now?
I'm always creating music. I've been doing that for a long time. But I want to record music, put it out. I want to me and my wife are putting together something called Vision and Sound, which I guess I can announce on this. And we want to bring together a bunch of artists that we feel can inspire people. We want to dancers, speakers, musicians, and just friends that we have that are in the arts, and we will bring people together and just kind of make it our time for a few hours. That's a personal vision of mine. And then I wanted to do this podcast, and I just want to keep doing music. I want to keep doing music. I'd like to speak at places and such. I kind of did a little bit of that last year with one of my friends, but I would like to tap into that more. And I think this is where it starts. You just start on ground level and you see where it goes, and it's exciting. It's really exciting. But that's it for me, and this is a long one right here, so this is really good. But anybody else have anything else they want to share really quickly? No?
I don't think so. No? I think I said.
Thank you guys for listening so much, and you guys are great, and I hope you guys feel inspired today as much as I do.
Subscribe, share,
follow,
comment. Love us, comment.
Love us.
Love us.
I haven't heard that one.
What are your dreams and aspirations?
Your dreams? Yeah.
What are your 10-year, 20, 30-year goals?
Yeah. And feel free to reach out to us on these pages, and we'd love to. I personally love helping people get to where they want to go. If I can do anything to help, and even speak to people and just hear feedback about stuff. But yeah, awesome.
Cool.
Thanks for having me on.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Anna.
Thanks, Anna.